in a few snow showers across the Highlands, as well as the Grampians as well, just above the highest ground. It is going to be a chilly evening, though, under any clearer skies for much of Scotland, as well as Northern Ireland, a touch of frost by tomorrow morning. Still quite damp, though, for much of Wales and Northern England, potentially across the southeast as well. This rain could linger into this evening, and it will likely persist across northeastern areas around this area of low pressure throughout Saturday night. Elsewhere, though, we get a ridge of high pressure moving in for Sunday, so that means it will be a clearer night for most areas, but it's going to be a colder night. As I said, a touch of frost across parts of Scotland, also some areas of Northern England, Wales as well, seeing a touch of frost. Elsewhere, we'll be in the low single figures to start the day on Sunday. Light winds, though, and plenty of sunshine mean it will probably be a pretty nice day. Definitely a nicer day on Sunday compared to today for most of us. However, there is another weather front on the way through the afternoon, so cloud will thicken from the west, turning sunshine hazier at first, but then the rain arrives into the afternoon. Ahead of that, though, plenty of sunshine to get out and about in, and temperatures around 6 or 7 degrees for many of us. It turns milder next week.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
It's the greatest cash prize of a Great British giveaway so far. A simply stunning £85,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like, making 2026 your greatest year to date. That could get you that brand new car, extend and improve your home, take you away on that bucket list holiday, or just give you some peace of mind over the coming months. For a chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Feet earlier this year as part of the first group to trek the same route as Lawrence of Arabia.
A former Special Forces officer, Howard Leedham, followed in Lawrence's footsteps across Saudi Arabia and Jordan in a 25-day journey. And I'm very happy to say he joins us now. Howard, thank you very much for coming to see us.
Thank you for having me on.
Now, talk us about what you're putting on, having completed that remarkable trek.
Well, we did the trek in January and February, and I was odd enough to lead a team of Special Forces Club members to do the entire route that Lawrence did in 1917. 685 miles, 1,100 kilometres, took us 25 days. We started off with 5 riders, 4 riders made it, and the last 9 days we spent in Jordan. And one of the things that in Saudi, we would basically follow Lawrence's route from water to water and go to the same wells that he had gone, because that's what they had to do, as they worked their way around the Nefed Desert. And then, obviously, when they came in towards Aqaba, because the guns in Aqaba all facing towards the sea, yeah. so they had to cross the uncrossable desert to get into the back of Aqaba. And when you come into Jordan, what strikes you is, because of the topography and because of the way that the history is so well recorded in that area, is that you can basically follow almost a precise route that he followed, and basically sleep in the same places that he slept, so you can really feel what they were doing and how they tactically moved down in order to take the port of Aqaba.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Good morning, it's 10 o'clock on Saturday the 29th of November. Live across the UK, this is Saturday Morning Live.
Biggest stories, boldest opinions and liveliest debates over the next 2 hours. I'm Olivia Rutley.
And I'm Cameron Walker. Your weekend starts right here.
And the Chancellor is on the brink as she's accused of conning the country with a fake £30 billion fiscal black hole to justify her tax raid. Is it time that Rachel Reeves resigns?
And thousands of passengers braced themselves for travel chaos after Airbus was forced to ground planes to fix a software glitch linked to solar radiation. We'll bring you the very latest on that story throughout the programme.
And shop till you drop. Black Friday spending in the UK is set to reach £6.4 billion on the nation's second busiest shopping day of the year.
And deck the ports. Oh, look at those dogs, they're so beautiful. They're all wearing Christmas outfits for those of you listening on the radio. Merry Christmas. Someone has written in, you're also cute, great pun there. Find out why dogs are donning festive jumpers and parading through London. We'll be joined by some of these fluffy friends very later on in the show.
I mean, I'm fascinated by this Rachel Reeves story. Is she actually going to have to resign? She essentially said that she had to raise taxes because there was a big hole in the nation's finances. The OBR details have proved that just wasn't true at all. Well, deliberately misleading Parliament is a resigning offence, isn't it?
And we've had Kemi Badenoch and we've had the Shadow Chancellor both calling for Rachel Reeves to resign. I think it'll be interesting to hear what the backbenchers think about that. But it's not just about politicians, it's the British public. Do you feel lied to? Because there's a direct contradiction to what the Treasury officials and Rachel Reeves was saying about this alleged £30 billion black hole compared to what the OBR have been saying to her behind the scenes.
And I think if I was a publican, I would certainly feel that I was being lied to because they've been treated worse than even the rest of the population. Rachel Reeves said that she was ushering in a golden era for the hospitality sector with lower business rates. Then in the small print, another government body released a document showing that actually pubs were going to be revalued under new brackets, and that meant that business rates would be going up. Plus, that pandemic era cut to business rates of 40% is ending in April, which more than wipes out any tax savings that Rachel Reeves included in her budget. We are going to see pubs closing up and down the country because of this.
Yeah, and it's really fearful because around 12,000 jobs could be on the line in hospitality and in pubs. If you own a pub, if you work in hospitality, please get in touch, gbnews.com/your say. We'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
And even if you just like a pub as well, the pubs can be a centre of a community. So please do get in touch with that and everything else we're going to be talking about today. But before we do anything else, here's Bethany Elsey with all your news headlines.
Thank you both. Good morning. I'm Bethany Elsey with your top stories from the GB newsroom at 10:02. The Chancellor has defended her budget as fair and necessary after being accused of lying about the size of the fiscal gap to pave the way for higher taxes. Downing Street also denied the allegations that she misled the public with her warnings of a £30 billion black hole. That's despite the Office for Budget Responsibility revealing that they informed the Treasury in September that the gap was likely far smaller. Rachel Reeves has told The Guardian this morning that she chose to protect public spending because people voted for change at the election. Well, the Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch says she should be sacked. Passengers are being warned of potential disruption after thousands of Airbus planes have been hit with a software issue. Airlines are making urgent modifications to their fleet after the firm discovered intense solar radiation could cause onboard controls to malfunction. It's after at least 15 JetBlue passengers were injured last month when an A320 aircraft suddenly dropped in altitude, forcing an emergency landing in Florida. The European Aviation Safety Agency says a simple software update should solve the issue, and some planes will be grounded until tomorrow while this takes place. Authorities in Ukraine say Russia had fired dozens of cruise and ballistic missiles and more than 500 drones into the capital Kyiv overnight, killing 2 people and injuring dozens more. Loud explosions were heard across the city as several apartment blocks were hit, as well as energy facilities and critical infrastructure. Meanwhile, reports suggest Donald Trump could recognise occupied Ukrainian territories as Russian in his bid to broker peace between the two countries. A US team are expected to hold discussions in Moscow next week. And 3 days of official mourning have begun in Hong Kong after a devastating fire ripped through several tower blocks earlier this week. Government officials observed a 3-minute silence in memory of the 128 people known to have died in what is thought to be the world's worst residential building fire in decades. King Charles has said he and Queen Camilla are greatly saddened by what he's called an appalling tragedy. The number of victims is expected to rise, with around 200 people still missing. You're up to date. I'll have more for you in half an hour.
Tune into GB News Radio wherever you are. Online, on DAB digital radio, on TuneIn, on Radio Player and on your smart speaker. Just say, play GB News.
Thank you, Bethany, and welcome back to Saturday Morning Live with me, Olivia Utley, and Cameron Walker.
Very good morning to you. And Chancellor Rachel Reeves has been accused of misleading the public over the state of the country's finances as she plotted her £30 billion tax raid, allegedly to save herself and Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer's jobs.
It comes as the Office for Budget Responsibility revealed that a series of statements in recent weeks from Ms Reeves and her officials falsely exaggerated the fiscal shortfall she faced, preparing the ground for her to raise taxes and welfare spending.
Well, joining us now in the studio is journalist and broadcaster Claire Muldoon. I mean, Claire, good morning to you.
Good morning.
I think there's a lot of people angry with Rachel Reeves right now, including, of course, the Conservative leader, Kemi Badenoch, who has called for her resignation.
Well, she's quite right to. The papers are full of the myths surrounding Reeves and the budget that she delivered to the country. And we've got, don't forget, we've got the responsibility of the Commons Committee that will reach its conclusion on the 7th of January next year. In that, they must tease out why she lied to the government, why she lied to companies and markets and business, but more importantly, why she lied to us, the British electorate.
So just to clarify for our viewers, because it's a bit complicated, what's OBR, lying to who, what about what, when? Basically, what happened, we think, is that she wanted to raise welfare spending.
Yes.
She wanted to raise taxes to pay for that. But she said in the run-up to the budget that the reason that she needed to raise taxes was because there was this big shortfall in the amount of money that the country was receiving. And
this
the
black hole.
Yes.
This black hole that we heard so much about.
Yep.
And the OBR, essentially, the documents show that that isn't really true at all.
By October the 31st, we're told that the OBR had told her that there was indeed not such a thing. In fact, there was a headroom. A headroom means the surplus. She had money to play with. She didn't need to go in on the attack fiscally the way she has for the working people. Don't forget, that's what Starmer called us all.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Who is a working person? I mean, the defence, I suppose, for Rachel Reeves, and this is what I've heard her allies saying, is that the OBR didn't actually specifically say that she didn't have to raise taxes, and it was her choice as the Chancellor to decide whether or not to raise taxes. The OBR has the document.
But Olivia, on the 5th of November, she was doing the breakfast rounds in the media, you know, extolling the virtues of the Labour manifesto and woe her, the tough decisions that she would have to make fiscally in this country to bolster the welfare state, to bolster everyone but the working person, but the savers, but the pensioners, but the hospitality industry, but everything you can actually point a finger to. We don't forget, this the government website has actually said they've released her paper, if you want, on the 26th of November. It says strong foundations, secure future, at least she's got a bit of grammar, a budget that's on the community's policies, that's building these foundations that Starmer was wittering on about, and yet they can't even get Angela Rayner's employment bill through. That's now cut from 1 day for employees to have their employee rights. Also, what they can't do is build the houses that Angela Rayner said they were going to build. So everything, really, that they said they were going to do, they haven't.
But what is the motivation for the Chancellor here? Is it that she genuinely believes that this is a good policy to go down, taxing everybody to oblivion? Or is it that she's being held to ransom by her backbenchers, and in order to keep her job, she needed to go through with this?
I think it's a bit of both, Cameron, to be honest with you. I don't think there's one thing that she can actually say in her defence. I think it's a myriad of all of those things that you've just mentioned. Starmer, in my view, is no leader at all. He shows no leadership qualities by allowing her still to be Chancellor of the Exchequer after the first budget and now this one. I think her position has become untenable. I really, really do.
I mean, how is this budget going to go down with voters? Because evidence shows that someone on a £35,000 a year salary will be £1,400 worse off each year, whereas someone with 5 kids who's on benefits will be £10,000 better off each year because of the scrapping of the 2-child benefit limit. are people going to be turning against Labour, or will they be actually leaving the country?
So I want to bring up two things here. In the budget, she stood there and she said that Scotland, through the Barnett equation, was going to get an awful lot more money. My jaw dropped at that. And her reason was, she said it at the dispatch box, was because Anna Sarwar asked for it. Well, if you want your Christmas list, go via Anna Sarwar and I'm sure you'll get what you want. Because that as well, that's purely political because of the rise of reform in Scotland at the moment. And she was buying votes by bolstering the Labour Party and the Labour Party support in Scotland. Now, back to the two-child benefit cap, I'm actually in support of her abolishing that. And that was actually a reform policy. Because before that, before Farage and Reform said, oh, we think we should scrap it, Labour were never going to do that. So that's been a change as well. That's another pivot. And when we say families will be £10,000 greater off, the reality is a lot more of that is going into housing costs. You will find that families that are living precariously on the precipice of poverty, really, they're not being paid to have more children. I don't believe that for a minute. However, I do believe that we have to underpin society as much as we can, and by scrapping that benefit, I believe it's only enabling children to grow up outside poverty.
A spokesman for the Treasury insisted the Chancellor has made choices to, and I quote, to cut the cost of living, cut hospital waiting lists and double headroom. What do you make of that?
No, this is what I alluded to earlier when I said about the black hole not being in existence, and she actually had manoeuvrability of finance there to move things around better than she has done. I think they should bring back drinking at the dispatch box when delivering the budget for a start, because maybe it would have made far more sense to us to watch it.
We should have been drinking at home.
Yes, I think it's good for people to get through it, to be honest with you. And I think also, going forward, we're definitely going to feel the pinch. You mentioned in your opening there about hospitality, going to the pub, etc. It's not going to be easy for anyone, and this is not what people voted for. Certainly not what I wanted, and it's certainly not what I voted for.
Well, let's see what our viewers voted for. Claire, stay with us for now, but just a reminder, friends of GB News can vote in today's You Decide poll by scanning the QR code, and we are asking, can we trust any party to tell the whole truth about public finances? The results are now in. 8% of you, oh gosh, say yes. 92% say no. You're not going to trust any party whatsoever. Claire, there's another party that's on the horizon today. I want to say your party, but it's not quite called your party yet. This is Jeremy Corbyn and Zara Sultana's inaugural party conference that's taking place today, apparently. But of course, there's been so much infighting between the two of them. Is it ever really going to get off the ground?
I don't think so. I really don't. I mean, notwithstanding all the infighting of who's leader, who's what, but the financial burden of it. You know, there was all that scandal about where the money came from. No one was being transparent or anything like that. So, you know.
Do you think there's a risk here for Labour and actually all the parties on the left that in the next election, the left ends up being more split than the right? Obviously, at the last election, we saw the Conservatives being hammered really partly because Reform took some of their votes. But at this election, we could well see the Greens are just going up and up and up. The momentum behind Zach Balansky is enormous. Then you've got your party launching as well, and we might all be, laughing at it. Apparently, Jeremy Corbyn, Cameron was saying, won't call Zara Sultana a friend. It's quite playgroup dynamics. But Jeremy Corbyn does have a bit of a cult following, and you could see a situation where that left-wing vote is just split myriad different ways.
It will. It definitely will. Just like the Conservative Party, after 14 years of their, I don't even need to say leadership because we know it wasn't, what they did. And that shows what happens in the political spectrum now to society and society's norms. And also, people are far better read now. We have got access to the media. We've got very much more access to our MPs that we actually can realise and find out what they actually think. And we're far more critical as a society, I think, than we ever have been. That's an issue because that's very divisive. What we need, and I think the rise of the Greens is a horrific thing to happen in this country, and it's rising more than Zach Balansky could actually raise women's busts when they went in for hypnotherapy. It's really quite frightening, and his rhetoric on everything is just shocking. But there is a lot of young women in particular that are drawn to the Greens, but I would draw them to the disastrous result of the Scottish Parliament when the Greens were in bed with the SNP. And that did not make for happy viewing, happy politics or happy Scots.
Well, thank you very much, Claire. And moving on, thousands of passengers are bracing themselves for travel chaos after Airbus was forced to ground planes to fix a software glitch linked to bursts of solar radiation.
Well, joining us now for more on this is the travel and aviation expert, Sally Gethin. Sally, good morning to you. I think a lot of viewers may be quite frightened, perhaps, that a software glitch could potentially have quite an adverse effect on the aircrafts they're flying on, because wasn't there a JetBlue A320 incident last month in the US where 15 passengers were injured because the plane suddenly dropped out the sky?
Yes, it does sound really alarming, doesn't it? And it would have been very alarming for those people on board. But the thing was, it is an exceptional incident that happened, and it is being addressed very speedily. So the response that we're seeing of aircraft having to be modified to address this particular flaw or problem it shows that aviation is a safety-first industry, and it is making sure that air travel is safe for passengers.
It is obviously a very safe way of travel, and I don't mean to be alarmist at all, but we did actually see an uptick in the number of accidents on air travel in 2024, up from 2023. Is this a trend which might continue? I mean, we do keep hearing in the news horrific stories about plane crashes.
Well, yeah, there have been some, absolutely terrible disasters, not least the Air India crash. And, that is, dreadful, obviously. But you have to remember that the volumes of passengers are increasing year on year as well. Exponentially, and we had so-called revenge travel after the pandemic. We're well past the 2019 pre-pandemic levels of traffic, so obviously there is likely to be a slight proportionate rise. Having said that, the industry really addresses every single incident, and it learns from each incident, and the investigation processes are very robust.
Sally, what is going to be the potential impact for passengers flying if some planes have to be taken out of service to have this software update installed?
So what they can expect is that their airline may inform them that there is a delay or some other issue in getting them to their destination. So the important thing for anybody watching today that's concerned about their air travel, obviously stay close to your airline, make sure that you're connected with them and you can receive all the updates. In some cases, airlines that do operate this particular type of aircraft, it's the Airbus A320. We're talking about EasyJet, Jet2.com. British Airways operates a few of these planes, but not very many, and has that under control. Also Wizz Air, also Lufthansa. So there's some chance maybe if you are travelling immediately, you may be disrupted. But in that situation, the airline still has to get you to your destination one way or another, or offer you a refund. It's going to be at least a short-term issue because it's an emergency directive that's been issued to airlines to implement this software upgrade, and they have a short time frame to do it, essentially this weekend. So we are hoping, well, the industry is hoping that this won't drag on for too far into the next week.
Thank you very much, Sally. Very good advice to our viewers there. If you are flying in the next few days, make sure you check with your airline what's going on, stay by your phone, and hopefully it'll all be cleared up over the course of the weekend.
Yeah, and just to say, I mean, there's several flights that go, thousands of flights that fly around the world every day, and the vast majority of them have no issues whatsoever. So I'd keep flying.
To counter my alarm, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cameron.
That's all right. And still to come, I'm excited for this. Merry Woofmas, jingle, pause. I mean, keep sending in these puns, they're great. Find out why dogs are donning festive jumpers and parading through central London this weekend, and we'll be joined by some of them very shortly.
But next, we'll be going through what's making the news with Tory councillor Matthew Goodwin Freeman and Andy Twelves. This is Saturday Morning Live on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
It's very scary the way that it's heading. I think AI has so many fantastic opportunities, but that when you remove the human out of it, nasty things can happen. And I think young people are being attracted to it because it's 24 availability, there's no judgment, so there's no embarrassment, and they're getting instant responses. So when you're removing the human out of the room, things go wrong.
Is this because adults have pushed this through? We just saw Keir Starmer there on a lectern at one of the many occasions where he's wanging on about how fantastic AI is and it's going to be in all the schools, it's going to transform everything. There's never anybody in the room that puts their hand up and goes, hang on a minute, have you thought this through? Have you actually thought about the negative consequences of this? We don't do that when it comes to technology, do we? We just push it through, Colin.
We are. We're literally just pushing it through. So I think on one hand, for having AI as a companion in a school, it's fantastic because then no child technically is getting left behind because it's like a personal tutor. But no one's putting in those guardrails to say, hang on a sec, when something goes wrong, how are we alerting someone? Who do we alert? And then what do we do about it? No one's actually asking those questions. And we're moving at such a fast pace. We are sprinting when really we should be walking.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just about teenagers relying on AI now. You'll be seeing it, Colin. I mean, you're using. I have started to use it. I'm not denying it. I'm not a complete Luddite. I will go on if I want to come up with something creative, rather than starting with a blank page. I will go on to one of the AI sites and just ask some questions. And sometimes it just kicks you off with your creativity, or gives you some ideas which you can. But I am watching adults as well.
GB News, the People's Channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Now, to look through the top stories of today, we're delighted to be joined by Conservative councillor Matthew Goodwin-Freeman and trade unionist and political commentator Andy Twells. Let's start, just because we were talking about it now, about this article from Boris Johnson's Mail comment piece. After the almighty pummelling she gave Pat Reeves, my advice is to buy shares in Chemi. I hear it in Boris Johnson's voice.
You can't you?
Whatever you think about, completely everything he says, you hear it in his voice. Whatever you think of her politics, that was very impressive oratory from Kemi Badenoch.
She absolutely knocked it out of the park. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, she was way too personal about Rachel Reeves and whatever. Sorry, she said what the public were thinking. She knocked it out of the park. It hit them whilst they were down. It was a really, really good response. She's getting better at this. I've noticed, Prime Minister's questions, the response to the budget. Kemi is getting much, much better. And, where was this during the leadership contest? A lot of people have talked about, Robert Jenrick, fantastic public speaker. Well, he wasn't like that in the leadership contest. So, how the tables have turned. I'm starting to, like Boris has said, warming up to the idea of Kemi being there and knocking Labour out the park. And did you think she was too personal at the dispatch box?
I think... yes and no. I would expect if Labour were in opposition again and a Tory Chancellor had done that, I'd expect the Leader of the Opposition to do that to a Tory Chancellor. Yeah. So it's kind of, if we did it, it's fine, but if they did it, it's not OK. So, it's the hypocrisy of politics. It's the hypocrisy of politics. But I think this idea that she did a really great job, she did her job. She's been really, really poor for the last 18 months, has it been, year or so. And now she did decent at PMQs when there had been an awful week for the government. She did well at a budget where it wasn't the greatest Labour budget. Do you know what I mean? She's doing a job. I don't think we should be celebrating this. And, you know, the kiss of death from Boris Johnson here, an endorsement from the man who tore down the Tory party. I don't think that's the kind of headline she wants to be running with. People still associate Boris with, you know, massive failures over COVID, the lies, the parties, all of that. He brought down the Tory party, and now he's going, oh, well, she's the one to rebuild. I don't think that's the line you really want to run with.
Well, I mean, firstly, Boris is in the past, but secondly, Labour are doing everything they can to bring down the Labour Party. Do we want to go through the freebies, the dodgy passes,
say Boris
the
is in the past, then why are we praising his endorsement?
I do think Kemi is getting better, and I've heard that she's apparently getting some training from David Cameron, so a brilliant speaker at the dispatch box. If that's the case, then I can see this getting better and better week after week, and that is important because we do need a strong opposition at the moment to hold the government to account.
But the problem is, though, as Andy said, we might think that Kemi Badenoch's doing a good job now. We're in Westminster, we live and breathe all this stuff. The public basically turned off when, over the first year of her job as leader of the opposition, she did basically nothing. And in that political vacuum, Reform stepped in. So you say we need opposition. That's Reform.
I have said exactly the same thing for the last year. We should never have turned off the taps. We should have kept going and going, because otherwise we open the door to Reform, and we have seen what's happened.
It's too late.
But, well, you say it's too late. We are here talking about Kemi Badenoch. We are here talking about her speech and her response that she gave. People will be talking about it and seeing videos of it. That is how politics is starting to change the narrative.
Well, I think one of the most compelling things that I read was Ben Walker, a data journalist and pollster, went up to Rotherham, which is exactly the kind of seat that Labour, Tories, Reform will all be wanting to win as a bellwether seat at the next general election. Went from a Tory to a Reform voter, went, what did you think of Kemi Badenoch today at the dispatch box? The Tory to Reform voter had never heard of her. He couldn't name her. So I think this is a kind of Westminster bubble thing. It's like almost like Gordon McKee's custard cream videos. Wow, they're really nice and clever. But like outside, in the real world, where the election will be won, people don't know about it. So I just don't know if Kemi's really got that cut through.
Well, where I think the Chancellor may not be able to use this excuse again, I think the week to the run-up to the election, she was accusing officials of mansplaining to her or other politicians mansplaining to her. And then you see Kemi Badenoch, another woman, with her at the dispatch box, saying people aren't criticising you for being a woman, they're criticising you for being incompetent at your job.
Absolutely. Yeah, she got what she deserved. The people would have said far different things to Rachel Reeves if they got the chance to. I think Kemi said what the public were thinking. She said what a lot of Brits are wanting to be said. At the end of the day, you can't hide behind arguments of mansplaining or because I'm a woman or whatever. She praised so much about being the first female Chancellor. Well, sorry, women in politics face a very, very difficult journey compared to men. That is part of it. And if you're not up to the game, if you're not up to the scratch, then I'm sorry, maybe it's not the career for you.
Can we also quickly talk about this story? Asylum seekers won't be given free taxis for medical appointments. Astonishing BBC investigation showing that one man used a 250-mile cab journey, which cost the Home Office £600 to get to a GP.
I think the most surprising part of the story is that a cab went 250 miles. I think that's absolutely insane.
If they're paid for it.
Well, yeah, you'd want to pay for the journey back as well, wouldn't you, I suppose? I think it is nuts. I think, obviously, people who are coming here that don't have the same medical checking that our children do, that people who are raised in this country do, should get priority access to a GP just as a health concern. You know, I think there was a report of TB or something on a small boat migrant. So obviously we want to stop that so there's not a TB outbreak. But I don't think they should be going, you know, more than, I don't know, 10 miles, 15 miles.
But what baffles me is there's clearly, presumably, some civil servant in some office somewhere who is justifying this to themselves and signing off on it. I don't think the Home Office or indeed the Home Secretary knew about this really until the BBC investigation.
Well, welcome to the Home Office. Welcome to the civil service. This is exactly what they do. They say and come up with whatever justification that they need to spend more of other people's money. I mean, I'm glad that asylum seekers aren't to be given, you know, free taxi rides anymore. It's disgraceful. I would like to see us spending similar amounts of money to what we're spending on asylum seekers, on Brits being able to get GP appointments, get to school, get places at work, things like that, instead of giving it to people who we have no idea who they are, where they've come from, what they're going to do. And it turns out for a lot of them, we find out that they're either convicted terrorists in other countries or are threats to our security.
So what's the alternative for taking a taxi to a GP appointment then?
Deport them. We don't need these people in this country. But these people have come here illegally. They've entered our country illegally. Their first action to a country that's showing them hospitality is to break our borders. And then instead, whilst we're sitting around waiting for them to have their asylum process claimed, where they make up whatever country they've come from because they've chucked all their documents in the water, we go, right, you can go to the front of the queue for the NHS, you can go to the front of the queue for the housing, and the ordinary Brit who has worked hard day and night to put the food on the table for their family has to wait. I'm fed up of it. No.
But of course, in the short term, it's quite hard to deport all of these.
Well, that's maybe why we need to leave the ECHR, and maybe the government shouldn't have scrapped the Rwanda plan that already had reduced numbers 33% without a single flight taken off.
I completely agree. I think the Tory vandalism over the last 15 years of our NHS that has left ordinary Brits without being able to see a GP in a decent amount of time, without being able to access those essential services, I absolutely agree. It is disgraceful, and I'm shocked that, a Tory would ever, want to prioritise the NHS after the vandalism they committed
well, it'd be
over the last
helpful
15
if the doctors
years.
Didn't keep going on strike for bumper pay rises when no one else is
bumper
getting.
Pay rises when you didn't give
26% pay rise.
26% pay rise because they
28% pay rise last.
Well, no, that's the thing. The pay rise, they only gave them a 15% on that 28%.
Oh, only 15%.
I mean,
who else
in
got
fairness,
15%? Who else in this
MPs.
country got 15%?
MPs.
Okay,
over the same period,
right,
MPs got more than that.
Ordinary Brits, people like any of us. How many of us have all got 15% pay rises?
I think doctors are more important than MPs.
I'm not here to justify MPs.
I would encourage every ordinary Brit to join a trade union, to unionise,
right.
and to go on strike for their fair pay.
And to get
if it wasn't for that Tory vandalism of the economy as well, where wages had stagnated over the last 15 years,
and it's
perhaps people wouldn't be going on strike.
And going a lot better right now, is it, from Rachel from accounts?
Well, I mean,
we've had the budget
Rachel
this
from
week.
We talked about this section. Would you ever say, Quasi? Would you ever say Quasi from accounts?
Oh, sorry, Kamikaze Quasi is what he was called.
Would you ever say Quasi from accounts?
Who was related to a lettuce. You can't. You said earlier on, it's fine if the left say it and bad if the right. Well, you're doing exactly the same right now.
That's why I said it's
right?
okay.
It's complete hypocrisy. The fact is, when it comes to this country, people are fed up of being gaslit, fed up of being lied, and that's what they've had for the last couple. That's what they've had for the last couple of months by Rachel Reeves.
You two are going to have to agree to disagree.
I'm very
afraid,
much
this
looking
morning.
forward to seeing these.
Conservative Councillor Matthew Gibbon-Freeman and trade unionist and political commentator Andy Twelves. Thank you for joining us.
Well, still to come, bring us some puggy. These are getting better.
These are getting better.
They are. Why are these dogs wearing Christmas jumpers through central London?
But first, your latest news headlines with Bethany Elsey.
Thank you both. Good morning. The headlines from the GB newsroom. The Chancellor has defended her budget as fair and necessary after being accused of lying about the size of the fiscal gap to pave the way for higher taxes. Airlines are making urgent modifications to thousands of Airbus planes after the firm discovered intense solar radiation could cause onboard controls to malfunction. Passengers are being warned of limited disruption. The Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood has banned asylum seekers from using taxis to attend most medical appointments, saying billions of taxpayers' money is being wasted. Authorities in Ukraine say Russia fired dozens of cruise and ballistic missiles and more than 500 drones into the capital Kyiv overnight, killing 2 people and injuring dozens more. And 3 days of official mourning have begun in Hong Kong after a devastating fire ripped through several tower blocks earlier this week, killing 128 people. 200 are still missing. I'll have more for you at 11 o'clock.
Take the GB News family with you on any device. As long as you have an internet connection, tune into GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond.
Thanks, Bethany. Coming up, a 76-year-old British cruise ship passenger is still missing, having fallen overboard from the cruise ship in the Canary Islands. We'll get the very latest on that rescue effort and speaking to an expert.
And in the bit you've all been waiting for, we'll be covering that doggy Christmas jumper walk in central London today. So don't go anywhere. All of that after your break.
I'm so excited.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather update brought to you from the Met Office. It's a bright start across northern areas, but a very different day to come across the south with a rain warning in force and a lot of cloud around as well. The rain warning is in force throughout the whole day today for much of Wales and southern and central areas of England. That will push eastwards as the day goes on, so some brighter spells developing across western areas of Wales and parts of southern England, as well as some bright skies across Northern Ireland and Scotland. Here, though, we do have a brisk northerly wind that will introduce colder air, so a much fresher feel for many of us, particularly across northern facing coasts. And as that colder air bumps into the rain across northern areas of England, we could see a dusting of snow over the highest ground of parts of northern England, perhaps southern Scotland as well. And this northerly wind will bring in a few snow showers across the Highlands as well as the Grampians as well, just above the highest ground. It is going to be a chilly evening though under any clearer skies for much of Scotland as well as Northern Ireland. A touch of frost frost by tomorrow morning. Still quite damp though for much of Wales and northern England, potentially across the southeast as well. This rain could linger into this evening, and it will likely persist across northeastern areas around this area of low pressure throughout Saturday night. Elsewhere though, we get a ridge of high pressure moving in for Sunday, so that means it will be a clearer night for most areas, but it's going to be a colder night. As I said, a touch of frost across parts of Scotland, also some areas of northern England, Wales as well, seeing a touch of frost. Elsewhere, we'll be in the low single figures to start the day on Sunday. Light winds though, and plenty of sunshine mean it will probably be a pretty nice day. Definitely a nicer day on Sunday compared to today for most of us. However, there is another weather front on the way through the afternoon, so cloud will thicken from the west, turning sunshine hazier at first, but then the rain arrives into the afternoon. Ahead of that though, plenty of sunshine to get out and about in, and temperatures around 6 or 7 degrees for many of us. It turns milder next week.
Britain was once the envy of the world, but look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Welcome back. The time is 10:36 and a British passenger is missing after falling overboard from a cruise ship off the coast of Tenerife.
Yes, a search is underway for a 76-year-old man who was reported missing from the Marella Explorer 2 on Thursday morning.
Well, to bring us the latest on this, we're joined in the studio by the Maritime Search and Rescue experts who used to work on the Maria cruises as Senior Second Officer Captain Matthew Shank. Matthew, good morning to you. If somebody falls overboard, what is the protocol on a cruise ship like this? What would have been happening with the crew at that time?
Sure, so it entirely depends on the timing of the incident. If the incident has been noticed by a passenger or a crew member instantly, the alarm will be raised almost immediately. So the response will be very quick. The crew on the bridge will slow the vessel down, set the alarms off to muster a rescue boat crew, who will then be able to launch a small boat to go and hopefully rescue the passenger. However, if it has only been noticed a few hours later, which is also quite common, it wasn't the case this time, but if it does happen a number of hours later, then the search and the operation can be a lot more protracted.
Mm-hmm.
How on earth did this happen? It seems like an extraordinary... I've been on a cruise ship. They seem very, very safe.
Absolutely. I mean, they are all constructed and certified to be able to carry thousands and thousands of people. I mean, the Marella Explorer 2 carries over 1,500 passengers and 800 crew. But obviously on a cruise ship, there is a way of getting over railings and falling overboard if you intend to. It's very rare for somebody to accidentally fall over. But what we tend to find is you look at the number of passengers who have been carried by cruise ships last year, it was over 34 million worldwide. Only about 25 people fell overboard off a cruise ship last year, which is a tiny percentage, but it's still 2 people a month. So it is rare, but it's not unheard of.
This happens in broad daylight. At about 9:48, I think, the alarm was raised, and yet they haven't been able to locate this passenger. Why do you think that possibly could have been? Is it because they disappeared under the water, or they just simply couldn't turn in time or see where the passenger had fallen?
At this stage, we don't know. You're absolutely right. This was daytime morning, which is good. You know, we've got daylight. The weather conditions weren't too bad, and they're still not too bad now. They're quite benign. My understanding is that it was noticed almost immediately by a passenger, so the alert was raised. Lots of search and rescue resources were sent by the Spanish Coast Guard, you know, a helicopter, about 3 rescue boats, as well as the Marella Explorer 2 itself being able to carry out a search. But yes, as far as we're aware, nothing has been found, and the 78-year-old male hasn't been found. We don't know. You know, it's called, unfortunately, search and rescue, not find and rescue, and there will always be a searching element. Given where the vessel was, it is the open Atlantic Ocean. You know, north of La Gomera is basically almost in the middle towards the Atlantic Ocean. So you've got winds, you've got currents, and a large expanse of sea to search, unfortunately.
I mean, this might sound a bit of a silly thing to say, it's obvious, but when I was on a cruise ship, it feels like a sort of floating city, doesn't it? You kind of forget that it is just a boat on water. You've worked on a ship like this. What's it like? How many people are in the crew? Who's looking after safety? Tell us a bit about it.
Exactly what you said. They are floating towns and cities. You know, if we look at a normal town and you think about the services and the facilities that are there, a cruise ship has to have all them. You know, they've got firefighters on board who are able to respond to fires and emergencies. They have security on board there, similar to our police. We have doctors and nurses. We have a medical centre on board all of these ships, alongside everything else that you expect: water generation, sewage, cooking. So they are floating cities. On the Marella Explorer 2, it's about 800 crew. And they are split across everything from the captain all the way down to people who clean the cabins, do the laundry, the engineers, and everything in between. The main thing is, in a lot of emergencies, and especially in a man overboard, a lot of those crew will also have emergency duties as well. So your firefighters will usually be your engineers and your deck ratings or your deck officers, who will also be trained to fight fires. And the same with the man overboard recovery crew. They'll be highly trained in launching and recovering these rescue boats from the ship, recovering people from the water. And the good thing with the Marella Explorer 2 is the medical team on board. You know, they have doctors and nurses who are very experienced and highly qualified. But unfortunately, none of that was able to be put into effect.
And with the Marella 2, what is happening to that ship now? Will the crew have to be interviewed? Will they have to write a report? Does that ship continue with its voyage, or does it dock at the nearest, port until we know more about this passenger?
So it does. It carries on with the cruise. They will still be working with the authorities. So the Spanish authorities will be on board. They'll be gathering evidence, so CCTV, taking statements from the passengers and the crew who are involved. They'll be looking at records. So records are really important. So they'll be taking copies of all them, and they will have to be an investigation to what happened. But the reality is, a lot of times with these man overboards, we don't know why they've ended up in the water.
Thank you so much, Matthew Shank. It's really interesting to get the insight from an insider. A Marella Cruises spokesperson told GB News, "We are deeply saddened to confirm that a guest was seen entering the water while the ship was on passage to La Gomera. Our thoughts are with the individual and their loved ones during this difficult time."
Our dedicated care team is supporting the family, providing assistance and comfort. We are working closely with local authorities and will continue to offer every possible support.
Thank you, Matthew. Well, up next, we'll be speaking to some furry friends donning Christmas jumpers for charity.
They look so cute. Look at those Christmas jumpers. Beautiful spaniel there for those of you watching on television. Have a look on our social medias if you're listening on the radio, because you will not want to miss this. But first, here is the forecast of some of the top European destinations.
I forecast a perfect holiday in the sun.
Weather looking good then?
For sure, and no worries about our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello, if you're heading away this weekend, it is actually looking fairly unsettled across parts of Europe and definitely cooler than usual. Across the Canary Islands, a risk of showers throughout the weekend and into next week. Temperatures around 18 or 19 degrees. A little bit cooler than usual across parts of Spain and Italy, just around 12 or 14 degrees. And some wet weather is pushing into parts of Greece. But actually, more eastern areas of Greece should stay relatively dry, so plenty of sunshine to come for Santorini. See you later.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray, are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get this on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it? Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Okoye, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, DC.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. The time is 10:46 and some breaking news coming into us. As Jeremy Corbyn, remember him, speaks at the Your Party conference in Liverpool. And we can reveal that surprise, surprise, GB News has been denied entry to the event. And our GB News reporter Anna Riley was told by the Jeremy Corbyn left-wing party that she would not be allowed to enter the conference despite previously applying for accreditation. And the People's Channel attempted to contact your party on numerous occasions over the last 24 hours as to whether accreditation was approved. We sent our reporter Anna Riley there, who is an incredibly impartial, reputable reporter, and all requests were ignored.
I saw Jeremy Corbyn the other day on Budget Day, and I ran up to him with my mic and started asking him questions, and he didn't ask who we were, and then I ran away before he was able to ask. So we did get an interview with Jeremy Corbyn, but not with him knowing who we were. So that seems to be the only way we can talk to Jeremy Corbyn's party. I think he should be wanting to talk to the People's Channel. What with our viewing figures at the moment going up and up, that's the way to get voters away from reform, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think our national reporter Will Godley a few weeks ago also managed to get a chat with Jeremy Corbyn. Again, I'm not sure he knew exactly who we were. I think there's a running theme here. But I think on both occasions, both interviews were perfectly respectable. And if he wants to talk to our viewers and try and persuade our viewers to why he thinks your party should be the one that you at home should vote for, then he should come on GB News. He should be interviewed by our journalists. But at the very least, he should allow our journalists in to observe what's going on at this party in Liverpool. And you may see, if you're watching on television, a live shot of Jeremy Corbyn speaking on the stage in Liverpool. This is an agency camera, so it's not a GB News camera. We obviously can use some of the agency footage, which is why we can show that to you. But that is the only reason that we have been, we can give you these live pictures. Do let us know what you think, though, if you think we should be allowed in or not.
Yeah, I mean, obviously GB News viewings are going up day by day, month on month, year on year. I think politicians who snub us, who don't want to talk to us, are going to think they made a mistake come the next general election. Jeremy Corbyn speaking now. You can see the hall just now. There was a shot of the hall all standing up, very excited. I think he does hold some of that sway that he always held. There is a bit of a cult following to Jeremy Corbyn, which hasn't really gone away. I'm fascinated to see whether your party will take off. He's competing with the Greens here, because Zach Polansky is on the rise, leader of the Green Party. Young people are going over to the Greens. I wonder what they'll make of your party.
Yeah, he is, Zach Polansky, incredibly populist, but I think he's not just competing with the Greens, he's competing with himself, because Zara Sultana seems to be setting up a kind of a fraction of the Your Party, or whatever it's going to be called by the end of this conference, by setting up some kind of alternative narrative here. And I think the question is, there's been a lot of infighting already before we have had this conference start in the first place. Both Jeremy Corbyn and Zara Sultana have gone on the record to say they regret and have apologised for any issues that have been caused by these internal fractures. But it's not a great start, is it, Olivia?
It's not really a big enough party to be able to have internal rows, and there's basically two of them, and they're at each other's throats all the time. It's not a brilliant look. I think what makes matters worse is that Zara Sultana at one point said that Your Party had become a boys' club. Well, that's the exact opposite of what a party led by Jeremy Corbyn is supposed to look like. You don't want to be turning into the sort of David Cameron Notting Hill set when you're Jeremy Corbyn. I think that's the worst possible look for them.
And of course, as we were saying, of course, we have the fraction on the left, because we're going to have the Greens, we've got Your Party, we've got Labour. All of them are going to be competing for votes come the next general election. So are they going to face the same problems that the Tories did at the general election last year, where the right was split?
Well, do let us know what you think. If you like Jeremy Corbyn's party, if you don't like it, write into us, let us know, gbnews.com/your-say. Well, moving on, Merry Woofmas, happy holidays. Oh, we are being spoiled.
Oh, we are.
Rescue dogs are gathering in their masses in Christmas jumpers to raise money for charity.
Well, pets will walk their owners from Horse Guards Parade down the Mall for a photo finish at Buckingham Palace.
And there will also be prizes for Best Dressed. That will be awarded to the Lucky Pooch.
Well, joining us live, I think, from Horse Guards Parade is the co-founder of Rescue Dogs of London, Teresa Cohane. Teresa, thank you so much for joining us. I see you've got some lovely fluffy friends with you. What are their names?
So we've got George from Hungary, Lulu from China, and Piccolina from Greece.
Oh,
they
so
look like they're taking their job very, very seriously. Very serious face from George there. So tell us, what are you all out there today doing this walk?
So we've got the London dog community together to celebrate rescue dogs. So we've got rescues, friends of rescues, and we're going to be walking down the Mall to Buckingham Palace. And it's just all about celebrating second chances and rescue dogs at Christmas.
OK, so all of these dogs are rescue dogs, are they?
No, there's a mixture of rescue and friends of rescues who're coming along to support the rescues.
Oh, amazing.
If you're watching on your TVs now, you can see some fantastic photos. I think there's a dog there with a Father Christmas hat on, which I really like. A few possibly hand-knitted pom-poms there. And their owners are rather well-dressed too, it has to be said, doesn't it?
Yes, I love how some of the owners have also dressed up with reindeer antlers and all sorts. Teresa, there are a lot of dogs in some very funky outfits here, all Christmassy, of course.
The tutu.
The tutu's brilliant. How on earth are you going to be choosing a winner of the Christmas jumper competition?
That's the hardest part, and it's the part, if I'm honest, that is, you know, I want to pick them all, so it's really difficult to choose the winners. But the ones that have, I guess, made a bit of extra effort, homemade costumes, those kind of things, those are the ones we're looking out for.
Oh, amazing. And where will our viewers be able to see who won that best dress? Will there be some social media photos of the winners?
Sorry, say that again?
Will our viewers be able to see who won? Will there be social media photos of the winners?
Yes, there will. We will be posting them on our Rescue Dogs of London Instagram page.
Oh, wonderful. And how can people support Rescue Dogs of London?
So if you can basically join up on the Instagram page. We run meetups and events regularly to support the rescue charities that we're working with.
Oh, it's absolutely brilliant. I mean, how many dogs do you own? How many dogs are actually there on Horse Guards Parade? Because from what we can see, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, so we had over 200 people and 170 dogs sign up. I think some people have been a bit put off by the weather, but we've got a really good turnout, so we're really pleased.
Teresa, I'm not sure, but I'd love to see your own jumper. I think there's a very good dog on that jumper.
I'm sorry,
we're not going to get a chance to have a look at that. But this dog, oh, Santa Paws. Love it, love it. Oh, brilliant jumper here.
Oh, that's absolutely wonderful. Well, Teresa, thank you so much for joining us here on GB News on Saturday Morning Live. Good luck with the walk. It all looks absolutely incredible and very Christmassy.
It really does. I might come and join you after the show. I'd love to see some of those dogs. It looks great. We've got lots more to come on Saturday Morning Live today, including more of today's top stories, how to get the best Black Friday deals, and sampling some authentic Thanksgiving food. Really, really looking forward to that. Get so hungry on the show. Don't go anywhere. All of that after your break.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather update brought to you from the Met Office. It's a bright start across northern areas, but a very different day to come across the south with a rain warning in force and a lot of cloud around as well. The rain warning is in force throughout the whole day today for much of Wales and southern and central areas of England. Now, it will push eastwards as the day goes on, so some brighter spells developing across western areas of Wales and parts of southern England, as well as some bright skies across Northern Ireland and Scotland. Here, though, we do have a brisk northerly wind that will introduce colder air, so a much fresher feel for many of us, particularly across northern-facing coasts. And as that colder air bumps into the rain across northern areas of England, we could see a dusting of snow over the highest ground of parts of northern England, perhaps southern Scotland as well. And this northerly wind will bring in a few snow showers across the Highlands, as well as the Grampians as well, just above the highest ground. It is going to be a chilly evening, though, under any clearer skies for much of Scotland, as well as Northern Ireland. A touch of frost by tomorrow morning. Still quite damp, though, for much of Wales and northern England, potentially across the southeast as well. This rain could linger into this evening, and it will likely persist across northeastern areas around this area of low pressure throughout Saturday night. Elsewhere, though, we get a ridge of high pressure moving in for Sunday, so that means it will be a clearer night for most areas, but it's going to be a colder night. As I said, a touch of frost across parts of Scotland, also some areas of northern England, Wales as well, seeing a touch of frost. Elsewhere, we'll be in the low single figures to start the day on Sunday. Light winds, though, and plenty of sunshine mean it will probably be a pretty nice day. Definitely a nicer day on Sunday compared to today for most of us. However, there is another weather front on the way through the afternoon, so cloud will thicken from the west, turning sunshine hazier at first, but then the rain arrives into the afternoon. Ahead of that, though, plenty of sunshine to get out and about in, and temperatures around 6 or 7 degrees for many of us. It turns milder next week.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
It's the big one. Your chance to win a whopping £85,000 in tax-free cash. The largest cash prize we've given away to date. That's like over £7,000 a month extra in your bank account each month for 12 whole months. That's a year of yes. Yes to holidays, yes to treats, yes to shopping trips, yes to home improvements. For a chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
I'm Michelle Dewberry, this is Jubes & Co with you.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christie is here to GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection, tune in to GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
Because the failure is...
You're
the failure
deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
Good morning, it's 11 o'clock on Saturday the 29th of November, live across the UK. This is Saturday Morning Live.
Biggest stories, boldest opinions and liveliest debates over the next 2 hours. I'm Olivia Utley.
And I'm Cameron Walker. Your weekend starts right here.
Well, breaking news now. GB News has been snubbed and denied entry from the Your Party debut conference in Liverpool as Jeremy Corbyn takes to the stage.
Surprise, surprise. And the Chancellor is on the brink as she's accused of conning the country with a fake £30 billion fiscal black hole to justify her tax raid. Is it time Rachel Reeves resigns? We'll be speaking to a pub landlord who is furious with the latest measures.
And shop till you drop. Black Friday spending in the UK is set to reach £6.4 billion on the nation's second busiest shopping day of the year.
And howdy, y'all. It's Thanksgiving weekend. Ignore my American accent. Americans will be reflecting on the positive things in life as they stuff themselves with sweet potato pie and sausage stuffing. This year, we'll be joining them with a live taste test to see what all the fuss is about.
Yes, please. Well, this business rates, this shocking hike in business rates, which has been snuck out by Rachel Reeves, is a massive, massive kick in the teeth for pub landlords. They're seeing what's basically happening is the pandemic business rates relief is ending in April. That was cutting business rates by 40%. At the same time, pubs and restaurants are being revalued. Their value is going up by a lot, and that means that they will be pushed into a higher business rate bracket. This comes as well as the workers' rights bill, meaning that it'll be harder to get casual employees, and energy bills going up too. I really don't see how pubs make ends meet in this kind of climate.
No, and this is estimated to cost the hospitality industry in Britain £150 million, which is equivalent to around 12,000 jobs. And do you know what? It's going to be those lower paid jobs which are going to be cut if landlords can't afford to keep those lower paid workers.
Yeah, and we'll just see pubs closing. That's the long and short of it. In the first half of 2025, 209 pubs closed down. 35% of pub owners are now saying that they're going to have to think of closing unless they're given tax relief. They're not being given tax relief, they're being given even more taxes. The jobs is so incredibly important, but pubs are also often the heart of the community. Pubs stave off loneliness. That's where you go to have a chat, catch up with your friends over a pint, maybe meet some new people. This is a tragedy for the British pub industry.
Well, that's what's so sad about this, because it's a great British tradition, isn't it? It is, as you say, the soul of the community. It's where people go and spend time. We all kind of go there, and it would be incredibly sad to lose it. But I think there are a lot of people out there who want to save the great British pub. And if you're one of them, get in touch, gbnews.com/yoursay. And we will, of course, Olivia, be talking to a pub landlord who's furious with Rachel Reeves later on in the programme.
Yeah, I'm furious about this. Really, really hard for pub landlords. Send your views and post your comments by visiting gbnews.com/yoursay. But before we do anything else, Bethany Elsey has all your news headlines.
Olivia, Cameron, thank you. Good morning. Your top stories at 3 minutes past 11. The Chancellor has defended her budget as fair and necessary after being accused of lying about the size of the fiscal gap to pave the way for higher taxes. Downing Street also denied the allegations that she misled the public with her warnings of a £30 billion black hole. That's despite the Office for Budget Responsibility revealing they informed the Treasury in September that the gap was likely far smaller. Rachel Reeves told The Guardian this morning that she chose to protect public spending because people voted for change at the election. The Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch, though, says she should be sacked. As you've been hearing, your party conference has kicked off in Liverpool and GB News has been denied access. Key issues for members this week include deciding on a formal name, with options including Our Party, Popular Alliance and For the Many, as well as whether they should back socialist independent candidates at the local elections in May. The party will also debate whether it should adopt a single leader or embrace a collective member leadership model. Passengers are being warned of potential disruption after thousands of Airbus planes have been hit with a software issue. Airlines are making urgent modifications to their fleet after the firm discovered intense solar radiation could cause onboard controls to malfunction. It's after at least 15 JetBlue passengers were injured last month when an A320 aircraft suddenly dropped in altitude, forcing an emergency landing in Florida. The European Aviation Safety Agency says a simple software update should solve the issue, and some planes will be grounded until tomorrow while this takes place. The Home Secretary has banned asylum seekers from using taxis to attend medical appointments. Shabana Mahmood says billions of taxpayers' money is being wasted on these trips. It's after a BBC investigation found some asylum seekers have used taxis to travel hundreds of miles to see a GP, costing the government hundreds of pounds. The new rules, which come into force in February, will restrict taxi use to only the most exceptional evidence-based cases, such as a physical disability, pregnancy or serious illness. Those journeys would also need to be approved by the Home Office. Authorities in Ukraine say Russia fired dozens of cruise and ballistic missiles and more than 500 drones into the capital, Kyiv, overnight, killing 2 people and injuring dozens more. Loud explosions were heard across the city as several apartment blocks were hit, as well as energy facilities and critical infrastructure. Meanwhile, reports suggest Donald Trump could recognise occupied Ukrainian territories as Russian in his bid to broker peace between the two countries. A US team are expected to hold discussions in Moscow next week. And 3 days of official mourning have begun in Hong Kong after a devastating fire ripped through several tower blocks earlier this week. Government officials have observed a 3-minute silence in memory of the 128 people known to have died in what is thought to be the world's worst residential building fire in decades. King Charles and Queen Camilla have said they're greatly saddened by what they've called an appalling tragedy. The number of victims is expected to rise as around 200 people are still missing. You're up to date. I'll have more for you in half an hour.
For all the latest from GB News whilst you're on the go, get the GB News app. Scan the QR code now to download or visit gbnews.com/app.
Thank you, Bethany, and welcome back to Saturday Morning Live with Olivia Rutley and Cameron Walker.
And in some breaking news from the last half an hour, as Jeremy Corbyn's Your Party conference kicks off, we can reveal that GB News has been denied entry from the event because GB News' reporter Anna Riley was told by the left-wing party that she wouldn't be allowed to enter the conference, and that is despite previously applying for accreditation in plenty of time, I can assure you as well.
Well, we'll be hearing from Anna very shortly. I mean, anyone who's ever watched GB News knows that Anna Riley is a scrupulously impartial reporter. I don't know why your party didn't let her in. I think they're cutting off their nose to spite their face there.
Yes, exactly. And of course, if you want to try and persuade viewers to vote for your party, maybe let a camera from a reputable news organisation, which is the #1 news channel in this country at the moment, inside, so you can talk to them. But of course, it's their decision.
But first, Chancellor Rachel Reeves has been accused of misleading the public over the state of the country's finances as she plotted her £30 billion tax raise, allegedly to save herself and Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer.
And it comes as the Office for Budget Responsibility revealed that a series of statements in recent weeks from Ms Reeves and her officials falsely exaggerated the fiscal shortfall she faced, preparing the ground for her to raise taxes and welfare spending.
Well, joining me now is journalist and broadcaster Claire Muldoon. It does sound a little as though Rachel Reeves did deliberately mislead Parliament and the voters in order to put up taxes because she wanted to, for example, raise welfare spending. At the same time, there's this astonishing story on the front of the Times today showing that she said in her budget that she would be heralding a golden era for the hospitality industry. She said that pubs would see their taxes cut. In reality, it looks as though this is going to be quite a big tax rise for pubs because she's revalued how much pubs are worth, and so therefore they have been pulled into a higher bracket of tax. It's all a bit complicated, but basically pubs are going to be taxed into oblivion.
Well, since the pandemic, there's been 2,000 pubs closing. That's more than one a day. What is happening to the Great British Pub? It was great to go there, meet up with friends, you know, enjoy togetherness, have quiz nights, and pubs have changed the culture. They're becoming more accessible for children. They do have smoking areas, and they're all over the country. And I think that, and for watching sports as well, there's nothing better than going down the pub to watch it with friends, like they saw in Scotland when Scotland had that dramatic win over Denmark in the football. However, as you quite rightly said, Olivia, Rachel Reeves has done nothing to help the hospitality industry whatsoever. Perhaps that's why she didn't have a drink at the dispatch box, because not even she would have the cheek to turn on what she was actually going to do. 40% discount on business rates will stop, which they all enjoyed, the hospitality and retail enjoyed since the pandemic. That will stop in April 2026. What will come in is the change in boundaries of the wealth and the property the tangential property value of these pubs. She's going to put them into a higher business rate tax liability, which will fundamentally change. I mean, the figures speak for themselves. The average business rate increase by 15% next year will add £1,400 to the tax bill, increasing to 2028, which isn't that far away now. An extra 65% on average, £7,000. How many pints would that cover? Not, you know, it's just ridiculous.
I suppose in defence of Rachel Reeves, you could say that the pandemic era relief, we are now a long way out of the pandemic, and perhaps she had no choice but to end that. Otherwise, she would have had to make it permanent. That said, at the same time as this higher business rate, we are also facing the workers' rights bill. Well, pubs are facing the workers' rights bill. That's going to make it much, much more difficult to employ seasonal staff. Really, really important for pubs who are obviously very, very busy over the Christmas period. Yeah. It's also going to make it much more difficult to get rid of staff who aren't performing well. And we're seeing the national minimum wage going up at the same time too. So it does feel a little bit as though pubs are being squeezed in every direction.
And these tax hikes are going to impact more pubs, etc., and restaurants than it will the retail industry, because they've got certain leeway and a certain headway to manoeuvre these, but hospitality and pubs definitely will be hit. And I think there's a bit of a solution here. When all of mine were students, and indeed when I was a student as well, we all came back home for Christmas, summers and Easters, etc. But the kids have got jobs at their universities, which more leave home to go to university, couldn't then take a job up because it was like, well, if you're going home, we're not going to take you. These kids that are going home now get back into your pubs in your local community, spend in them, meet your mates, and also work in them.
Exactly, but of course, it's not just businesses which could be affected by this, for hospitality businesses. It's societies, but also it's those young people who perhaps do want those seasonal work in the pub, because the national minimum wage is going up, and we're told that there's 12,000 jobs on the line because of what is happening with those business rates. So if you're a pub landlord, you're going to be thinking, well, I can't afford these new minimum wage rises, so I'm not going to employ these young people.
I know, plus the hike in national insurance and contributions from the employer that she brought in the budget earlier on this year.
We've all forgotten about that.
Well, I mean, it's real and it's happening, and it's getting to the heart of communities, and she's stifling it. She's putting a sword right through the heart of communities in this.
Well, I do love a bit of optimism on a Saturday morning, Claire. But thank you so much.
I'm going for a drink.
Yeah, I think we all need it. I will certainly be supporting a great British pub this afternoon, let me assure you. But just, of course, just to say, a spokesperson for the Treasury said the Chancellor has made the choices to cut the cost of living, cut hospital waiting lists and double headroom.
Well, could it really be last orders for the Chancellor? Let's get more with a pub landlord, just who we were talking about, Guy Richardson, who is joining us now. Guy, looks like you're in a lovely pub. Do you own that pub? What's this budget going to do to you?
I own the pub, yeah. I bought it 2 years ago. With the budget, it will destroy it. There's very little doubt about it. It will just destroy it. The cost of doing business now was hard enough as it is. But what Ms. Reeves has introduced is introducing soon is just going to be the last nail.
So you don't think that your pub will still be able to operate in a sort of year's time because of this budget?
No. That will be in a year's time. If I'm still here in a year's time, I may have a party. I don't think so.
But that's insane. I mean, Guy, how many people do you employ at the pub? Those kind of seasonal workers or young people who serve the pints?
A very small handful of people who we employ now are sort of friends, family. There's currently not very many people in this area that look for pub work for whatever reason. But the whole plethora of employing people now is becoming scarier and scarier. Just to survive is scary because of the implications of bringing these people on and the rights. I'm not saying people don't deserve rights. Everybody should have rights, but they've got to be realistic.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you've got an employee who isn't performing well and they're 3 days into the job and they're not turning up or whatever, you obviously have to have the right to find someone else who'll be able to do the job properly. It's about your rights as well.
You like to think so, and it's the rights of the pub, but it's also the rights of the people that are coming into the pubs. They're coming in to spend good money, hard-earned money, and expect a good level of service. And if you've got people that don't turn up for whatever reason, and you can't do anything about it. You've just got to wait until happy days the next time they turn along.
So, Guy, what do you think? What should Rachel Reeves be doing to help you out and to help thousands of pubs across the country out to just get by, really?
I think I would like to think she would have some sort of reflection on the business rates for sure. That's in April. I think the floodgates will open monstrously. Personally, what do I think she should be doing? I think she should be writing her resignation letter. If I'm perfectly honest, takes Keir Starmer with you. Find a little pub that will either have them or is open, and see exactly what it's like at the coalface.
Can you just, if there'll be Labour ministers watching this show, they do watch GB News. Can you tell us a little bit about why your pub is so important? It employs people, obviously, but it's also the centre of the community, I assume. It looks like a lovely little pub.
It's quite a nice little pub, yeah. A pub, wherever it is the centre of the community, whatever community it happens to be, whether it's a city centre pub, town centre pub, a destination, or a small village pub. There's so much talk about people's mental health and look after people at this time of year because they may be on their own. A few years ago, they'd meet in the pub. Would meet people that meet people in the pub. It's gone. It's finished. People, for whatever reason, be it financial or time or social media, people just don't go to the pub quite so much anymore. And with the way that the finances are being absolutely stretched and strained, I think that's just becoming more and more prevalent. And the social hub element of village pubs is pretty much on its last legs.
Well, Guy, let's try and end with something a bit positive. We're coming up to Christmas now. It's December on Monday. Why should the British people support the great British pubs over this festive season?
I think we all need something to cheer about. I think we all need to just be able to put whatever the troubles they are, if they possibly can, just back in the cupboard for a week, a day. And just come out and, let your hair down. And just have a jolly Christmas. Why not?
Oh, thank you very much, Guy. And I love the sound of your pub, and I really, really hope it is still around in a year's time. Thank you.
Yeah, I do too.
Thank you.
Thank you, you two. Thank you.
Thank you. And just a reminder, friends of GB News can vote in today's You Decide poll by scanning the QR code on your screen now. And we are asking, can we trust any party, Labour, Conservative, whatever, to tell the whole truth about the public finances? The results are in, and just 8% of you have said yes, 92% have said no. Pretty bleak.
Pretty stark, yeah. Well, let's return to the breaking news from the last half an hour. As Jeremy Corbyn's Your Party conference kicks off, we can reveal that GB News has been denied entry from the event. Let's hear from GB News reporter Anna Riley, who was told by the left-wing party she wouldn't be allowed to enter the conference. Anna, can you walk us through what happened here?
It's the inaugural Your Party conference this weekend here in Liverpool, where over 2,000 delegates are expected to attend. But sadly, GB News were not allowed to, despite us applying for press accreditation. We did not hear back from the press team at Your Party. I still came along this morning to see if I could get entry. Of course, we are the People's Channel. We want to cover all political spectrums and hear what Jeremy Corbyn was saying in his speech this morning. After waiting around for a fair amount of time this morning, I was eventually told that we would not be allowed inside the venue to cover the event, which is a real disappointment. I'm sure our viewers and listeners would be interested in hearing what was said today at the conference that also goes on until tomorrow as well. It's expected to hear speeches from Jeremy Corbyn and Zara Sultana, as well as MPs Shaukat Adam and Ayub Khan. There's, as I mentioned as well, over 2,000 delegates expected to join. That was down from the original ambition of 13,000 delegates attending, and it was a sort of lottery for people to get places here. But members have been told that they can vote online as well and follow the conference online. There have been warnings as well to expect potential disruption here. Nothing I've seen so far. There is a police presence here as well. And at this inaugural conference, it's all about forming the party together, what the party is going to do and what its morals and ambitions are. We know that it was decided back in July that the party would be formed, and over the last 3 months they've been working to get together to get a mission statement, a political statement as to what they want the party to be all about, and they say it will be led by its members. So far, the political statement is that Your Party is a democratic, member-led socialist party that stands for social justice, peace and international solidarity. So Your Party, they're saying their ambition is all about democracy, but perhaps for us it's not entirely about press freedoms.
Well, Anna Riley, thank you so much for that report. And of course, Anna is an impartial journalist here at GB News, so I think it's such a shame that she hasn't been let in. And David, one of our viewers, David, good morning to you, says, oh dear, Jeremy Corbyn and his minions banning GB News. I'm certain they'll openly champion free speech, but that just proves the exact opposite, says David. People aren't stupid. They'll only attract the youngsters if they carry on in such a manner. Do keep your views coming in on that one.
It sort of makes you think that they must be afraid of us for some reason. They're scared to face open, honest debate with GB News. I don't think that speaks very well for them, but let us know what you think. But moving on, this Christmas we are putting on a really exciting event, and we want lots of you there too.
Yes, on Saturday the 13th of December, you are invited to join us, GB News and our family, GB News family, for our Carols by Candlelight concert. For your chance to be with us live there, you can apply for tickets by scanning the QR code on your screen now. If you're listening on the radio, don't worry, you can go to the website, gbnews.com/carols, and the concert will be broadcast on Christmas Eve.
I'm going to be there, and I'm very much looking forward to it. But still to come, happy Thanksgiving weekend. In honour of our friends overseas, we'll be sampling some traditional dishes, including a bit of turkey.
But next, we'll be going through what's making the news with Matthew Goodwin-Freeman and Andy Twelves.
the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk
No,
now?
that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Welcome back, and to look through the top stories of today, we're delighted to be joined by Conservative councillor Matthew Goodwin-Freeman and trade unionist and political commentator Andy Twells. Now, I'm going to start with you, Matthew. We've just been talking about pubs there. We all know the price of the pint is going up.
12 o'clock somewhere.
We've seen it's very nearly
there. Nearly there.
We've seen £8 pints in some London pubs, but very little of that profit is actually going to the landlords. So much of it is now taxed. We've just been speaking to a pub landlord who doesn't think his pub's going to be around in a year's time because of all the tax. Was this a good idea from Rachel Reeves?
No, of course not. I mean, last year we had the gimmick of the penny off a pint, you know, that sort of thing. What we need to do is really support British pubs, because they are closing. The only pubs that we're seeing survive are where you've got these big franchises and it's like, you know, big companies effectively rolling out their pub everywhere. You don't have that local pub down in the community, someone from the community running that pub, things like that. We need to be supporting pubs more, and that's not happening. We've seen it with business rates, alcohol duty, all these other things that are going up. It's not going to get any easier for pubs, but I hope that people over the festive period go and support their local.
But of course, the cost of living crisis means, Andy, that people have less disposable income in order to spend in pubs. And it's not just they've got less disposable income, the prices of pints and whatever you're drinking in a pub have increased dramatically.
Yeah, and you always see the runaway headline that young people are drinking less than ever before, etc., etc. I think Sacha Lord, who he used to be the nighttime economy advisor in Greater Manchester, he's been leading a campaign about abolishing VAT on hospitality venues. I think that is the thing that government need to do. I mean, you know, I'm sure that in the Treasury money is tight. You know, it's been a difficult couple of years for the country, for the world. But I think abolishing VAT on hospitality venues would, you know, go a long way for this, and that's what I'd call for if I was in number 10.
What about the energy costs?
Energy costs. I think you need to look at these massive energy companies who are getting state subsidies and they're having these massive runaway profits. And we do have to have a serious think about your nan who is almost freezing to death in her home, but these massive energy bigwigs are taking home hundreds of millions. We need to have a serious conversation about A, the subsidies that we give energy companies when they're making these massive profits. I think if you're making profits, you shouldn't be receiving subsidies, and B, bringing some of those into public ownership. I think all of us should be benefiting from, you know, the massive prices that they're gouging off of consumers.
You can't, but the problem is, if we say about bringing into public ownership, how's Great British Energy doing? How's Great British Rail doing?
It takes a while to set up, in fact.
Well, I mean, you only have to look at the track record. The first company that was brought into nationalisation for Great British Rail, Southern, has ended up with worse delays and more cancellations. It doesn't work. Great British Energy, this thing that Net Zero Miliband keeps going on about, it's just not happening. It's not there. We're not seeing it come off energy bills. And we get gaslit by the Chancellor saying, oh, we're going to cut bills off people's energy bills. Well, Ofgem have already said it's going up this winter. It went up again last winter. They promised 300 quid off people's council tax. Never happened.
Ofgem,
so it's, you know, it's just... Well, the Labour government's not fit for purpose, so I completely agree. They can't keep making these promises
that they can't keep. At the end of the day, people look at their paychecks and they see less money.
You talk about rail being nationalised. We already have a nationalised rail service.
And it's getting
nationalised by French, by Germany, by the French, by the Germans. They own our railways and they're using the massive rail costs that we have to pay, consumers have to pay, to subsidise their national railways. We already have public ownership. It's just not owned by us.
Although Great Western Railway is going to be one of the ones that's going to be nationalised.
Yeah. Well, they're planning to nationalise all of them. Yeah, by the end of the term. Yeah.
Is that going to be bringing down rail prices for consumers?
No, because anything the government runs badly. The government have got a dreadful track of all colours, of all parties. The government has a dreadful track record of running major projects. Just look at HS2, for example. So I say again, you know, they nationalised Southern Railway. It has got worse. Cancellations have gone up. It is not working. But we, the taxpayers, are paying for it.
We're already paying for it. We're paying hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions out in subsidies to these rail companies, to the energy companies, to the water companies, and they keep failing consumers.
And
at some point, the government has to step in and go, do you know what, we've spent, you know, millions on this. We need to make sure our citizens are getting a decent service. We're already wasting the money. We might as well bring the standards in to where we can scrutinise it internally rather than waiting for some private company or even the French government to run a decent service for our people.
I would rather another company run a service better than live in this fantasy land where we say we'll nationalise stuff and it gets better. It gets worse, but your politicians tell you it's getting better. It's not. The Labour government nationalised Southern Rail. It has got worse. Cancellations have gone up. Delays have gone up.
What about
it
LNER?
has got worse.
What about LNER?
Look, I'm not here.
LNER's got significantly better. That's why you went
fantastic. So one's got better, one's got worse. Brilliant. Well, let's nationalise the whole lot of them and see what happens.
I think, you know, when the Tories sold off Royal Mail, I think the standard of service of Royal Mail has declined massively in the last 10 years.
Can I quickly... don't worry, I've got something else you can disagree on, so don't take this. Well, I think you'll probably disagree. This hike to minimum wage, now, obviously, it's got the right intentions. You want to bring people out of poverty. You want to get people earning more. There is a bit of a risk, though, isn't there, that places that... I, for example, worked in a cheese shop when I was 18 years old. I wasn't very good at the job.
We're very good at.
I wasn't.
Oh, gosh. Jesus.
I didn't know a lot about it. I wasn't brilliant at the job. I didn't know what I was doing because I was very young. I was paid the minimum wage. If I'd been paid any more, that employer probably wouldn't have given me my first chance. They would have chosen to have someone a bit more qualified, had a bit more experience, and that job actually taught me a lot. Is there a bit of a risk that this has the unintended consequence of making it just more difficult for young people to get jobs?
So I think when we look at minimum wage, I think everything increases. As inflation goes up, everything else increases. Food prices, bills, rent, whatever. So I think the minimum wage should increase in some relationship to inflation. But I think the key point here is that they're planning to equalise the minimum wage across age groups, because at the minute there's an under 16 minimum wage, 16 to 18 minimum wage, and an 18 to 21 minimum wage. The way that I view it, minimum wage labour is minimum wage labour. It doesn't matter whether you've got a 15-year-old doing it or a 21-year-old doing it. If you are hiring someone for the experience they have as a 18, 19, 20-year-old, then you shouldn't be paying a minimum wage. I just think minimum wage labour's the same.
I mean, ironically, sort of agreeing and disagreeing a bit. The only thing that I would say is, I come back to the point, it makes it harder to employ. Every single month since this Labour government's got in, unemployment has gone up. We've seen national insurance increase rises on employers, minimum wage increase, all of these things, you know, rights from day one being rolled to month 6. You know, all of these things make it more difficult to employ for those businesses, those garden centres, those cafes to take on just one extra person, one person out of school, one person out of university. It becomes more expensive. And we all know about the Laffer curve. Well, apparently Rachel doesn't, but the point is, it becomes harder, and you get to this tipping point, and we are at that tipping point where if employers start having to give their employees rights from day one, you make a hire and then immediately you can't even give them a probation period.
But you can give them a probation period.
It just becomes so with the minimum wage
dismissal. Failing your probation period is not unfair.
With the minimum wage point, it is just another little thing to make it more difficult for businesses, and businesses are at the end of the day the thing that makes the economy go.
OK, Conservative councillor Matthew Goodwin-Friedman and trade unionist and political commentator Andy Twells, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Try and go to the pub.
Let's go.
Maybe together.
Come on.
After that, we need to.
Anyway, lots more coming up on today's show, including happy Thanksgiving weekends to our friends from across the pond. We'll be tasting some of the goodies, including sweet potato pie, which I've never had before. But first, here is the news headlines with Bethany Elsey.
Thank you both. Good morning. The headlines from the GB newsroom. The Chancellor has defended her budget as fair and necessary after being accused of lying about the size of the fiscal gap to pave the way for higher taxes. Airlines are making urgent modifications to thousands of Airbus planes after the firm discovered intense solar radiation could cause onboard controls to malfunction. Passengers are being warned of limited disruption. The Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood has banned asylum seekers from using taxis to attend most medical appointments, saying billions of taxpayers' money is being wasted. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says a delegation is heading to the United States to continue discussions on a peace agreement to end the war with Russia. And 3 days of official mourning have begun in Hong Kong after a devastating fire ripped through several tower blocks earlier this week, killing 128 people. 200 are still missing. Those are the headlines for now. More for you at 12 o'clock.
You can now watch GB News live across the United States of America and the world on Truth Plus. Scan the QR code to find out more or visit gbnews.com/truth.
Thanks, Bethany. And do you want to know how to make the best of Black Friday weekend in the run-up to Christmas? We'll be live in Bristol asking locals what they've spent their money on.
Wow, one of the busiest shopping weekends of the year. I'm here in Bristol to talk to shoppers about what deals they found this Black Friday.
Good morning and welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. It's been a pretty wet start towards the weekend, but it is a weekend of two halves and Sunday does look like it will be a much drier and brighter end to the weekend. Now that's all to do with this low pressure system which is moving northeastwards across the UK, which like I said has brought some heavy rain through this morning, and there will be some heavy rain continuing through much of the afternoon, mostly across northern England, but even across the southeast those rains will continue for the first few hours of the afternoon. There will be some brighter skies as well developing, especially across the south, maybe just one or two showers here, but it will be a fresher feel once that rain does move through, especially across parts of Scotland where temperatures won't get any higher than those mid-single figures. As we go through this afternoon then, like I said, we will see some clearer skies across those southern counties, one or two showers for the southwest, but much of that heavy rain will continue to persist across northern England. Could even see some snow showers across the Pennines into the early evening as well. Some clearer skies for Scotland, some wintry showers as well across those northern coasts as we do have that northerly wind coming down as well, which again will make it feel rather cold to end at the evening on Saturday. This rain will continue to move its way out towards the North Sea, but those winds will strengthen across those northeastern coasts. We could even see some coastal gales here into the early hours of Sunday morning. But for the rest of the UK, some clearer skies developing. It will start to feel rather cold as well. Those temperatures will start to fall away under those clearer skies. So expect a widespread frost for people waking up on Sunday morning. We could even see some icy stretches across Scotland for a time, but Sunday, a very different story to what we're expecting today. Some nice, bright, crisp sunshine, and it will feel rather fresh through the day. One or two showers across the western coast of Wales and England, but then all eyes turn towards this weather system out towards the west for Monday.
Britain was once the envy of the world, but look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock, only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Welcome
welcome back. Black Friday weekend is here. Black Friday seems to be a couple of weeks now. I think it's always.
Yeah, I think it gets longer every year.
It gets longer and longer. It does, yeah.
Why?
But as shoppers are set to spend over £14 billion this weekend, many warning about the rise of scams.
Yes, researchers identified the weekend of sales as a prime time for scams, with criminals seeking to exploit seasonal pressures, fast browsing and heavy online traffic.
Well, joining us now to give us tips on how to spot and stop falling for scams is GB News reporter Isabel Falukak. Isabel, you're on a shopping high street by the look of it. It's a worrying trend, people being scammed out of their money at Black Friday time. What can our viewers do to keep themselves safe?
Well, speaking to a lot of people on the ground here today, I haven't heard much worry of scams, but what I have heard is a lot of excitement and anticipation for these deals. Well, yesterday, Black Friday, they expected to hit about 6.4 million in sales, and of course that is going to rise across the weekend. And look, if you can see behind me, this place is absolutely heaving today. And I spoke to a few shoppers this morning about how they chose to spend their Black Friday, and here's what they had to say.
It was the hundreds of emails that I got with tempting offers, and just so easy from home, just to like click on the link and think, oh yeah, I'm saving 30%, so it's quite exciting.
I think it's more of a big deal now because we have online compared to when I was younger, so it's advertised more. In terms of the deals, yeah, you just need to look out there for the best ones.
I think it's definitely a lot more online, especially with like a lot of shops shutting down. I don't know, it doesn't feel the same anymore.
I think people need a bit of joy in their lives though, so when you feel like you're buying a bargain, it really helps. Although there's sales all the time now. It's not just Black Friday, but it definitely does help bring a little bit of joy.
It definitely helps to get the deals. If you know it's coming, you'll probably wait and get a little bit of a reduction, I would say, but particularly for people sort of struggling. You know, the youngsters, they want the brands, so if you can get a little bit of money off that at the same time, even better.
Well, a lot of people there saying that they were tempted more by online shopping yesterday, and though the spending on Black Friday yesterday rose by about 1.5% for this year, foot traffic on the street, on the high streets, was actually down by minus 1.5%, and one of those factors could potentially be the increase in online shopping, where a lot of people are getting their deals. But also another factor is, like you said, Black Friday is less of just the one-day surge now. In fact, the sales go on for days, weeks, and even the month coming up to Christmas. Amazon, their sales started 2 weeks ago, and many of the high street brands behind me put their sales signs out as early as last weekend. So that's spreading out the demand, and we're not seeing as many of those notorious Black Friday queues as they wait for shops to open in the morning. Although today, behind me, as I've said, it's extremely busy, and though it was heaving, I spoke to a member of staff in a shop, and she said that there was completely full traffic in and out of the shop all day, but sales still didn't quite hit what they expected. But they'll find out more about online figures later in the month. So Black Friday changing and evolving in many ways. It was expected that the spend per person had rose as well to £262, up from £232 per person last year. And with a cost of living crisis, I'm not sure where that money necessarily is able to come from. But as you can see behind me, a very busy street, shoppers continuing on for the weekend ahead.
OK, Isabel, thank you very much for joining us from Bristol. And it does look incredibly busy where you are. So clearly there are some shoppers who are trying to take advantage of a bargain or two. I mean, Black Friday.
I've never really believed in about Black Friday.
No.
I have a theory that shops hike their prices a couple of weeks before Black Friday, and then they cut them by, 20%, so exciting.
Yeah.
And everyone flocks to it. And then the real deals are actually after Christmas.
Yeah.
I do all my Christmas shopping on Christmas Eve because quite often They've already reduced stuff.
Well, I thought you were
shops
about
are
to say
open.
Boxing Day, but no, shopping on Christmas Eve would stress me out too much. I've already started Christmas Day, my Christmas shopping. I can't leave it all to the last minute. I mean, I have to have it done by at least a week before because it's just going to stress me out. And then also, if you go to a shop on Christmas Eve, what if something's sold out that you need to get for a family member that's asked for it on the Christmas
something else. I had a very good excuse last year because my due date, my baby was due on Christmas Day.
Oh, yes, of course.
So I did sort of half my Christmas shopping and then, sorry, everyone, baby's arrived. Anyway, so that's a good excuse if you're looking for excuses not to do your Christmas shopping.
Well, you got the best Christmas present of all with a new bundle of joy to look after.
Well, still to come, we'll be joined by celebrity chef Theo Michaels, who has got some special Thanksgiving treats for us to try. But first, the forecast for some of the top European holiday destinations.
You're looking happy.
Well, the forecast looks good.
So you've sorted the travel insurance then?
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello, if you're heading away this weekend, it is actually looking fairly unsettled across parts of Europe and definitely cooler than usual. Across the Canary Islands, a risk of showers throughout the weekend and into next week. Temperatures around 18 or 19 degrees. A little bit cooler than usual across parts of Spain and Italy, just around 12 or 14 degrees. And some wet weather is pushing into parts of Greece. But actually, more eastern areas of Greece should stay relatively dry, so plenty of sunshine to come for Santorini. See you later.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
I think a lot of you at home are going to be quite annoyed with this. Now, Tesco, the big supermarket chain, appears to have got rid of the famous Christmas trees, instead renaming them evergreen
trees.
Evergreen
There's
trees.
the evergreen tree.
Here we are. So if you're listening on the radio, these are pictures of their boxes of artificial Christmas trees without the word Christmas on them at all, instead calling them evergreen trees. There are still a number of Christmas trees available called Christmas trees.
Christmas trees,
but I think it has clearly annoyed quite a lot of people. Why do you call them evergreen trees? Can't you just call them Christmas?
Just call them Christmas trees. I call them Christmas trees even outside of the time of Christmas. If they look like a Christmas tree, I call them a Christmas tree, don't you?
Yeah, I do. And the Conservative leader of the London Assembly, Susan Hall, she's told The Telegraph, it's Christmas. It's a Christmas tree. People don't tend to put up green plastic fir trees for any other reason. It's all stupid nonsense about offending other people and other religions. Well, below that, this is supposed to be a Christian country. We have Christmas. Let's celebrate it, says Susan Hall.
Actually, other religions are not offended by the celebration of Christmas in a Christian country. You speak to Hindus and Buddhists and the vast majority of Muslims, they're not in the slightest bit bothered and actually will join in those celebrations as well. It doesn't offend them. But what you've got are marketing divisions within these big companies where you've got Tarquin and Tabitha who feel that we must, you know, do what we can do to not offend the great British public. And the great British public are the ones that are actually buying the product and they're not in the slightest bit offended.
Can I just say it offends me that we've got Christmas already and it's not December.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK, we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News, the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. The time
time, 11:48, and I'm very excited for this. It's time to grab your napkins and hunker down, because now it's time to feast your eyes on the Thanksgiving must-haves this weekend.
From mashed and sweet potatoes to Brussels sprouts and cornbread, just what makes for a delicious all-American feast? Well, who better to ask than celebrity chef Theo Michaels, who lived in New Jersey for a number of years. I don't even know what cornbread is.
New Jersey cornbread. So it's made with a corn flour, and it's quite a rustic American dish. But living in the States for a few years, Thanksgiving, as we know, is a big thing. And so I've got a couple of treats for you today. Traditional American dishes.
Wonderful.
So,
what have we got?
So in my hand here, we've got a sweet potato pie. So yes, they are marshmallows on top, which defies logic, but let's not argue with it, right? So the idea in America is this is served as a main side dish to the main event. So it's classed almost as a savoury dish. It's not a dessert, so I'm just going to lift that up.
But it's got marshmallows on it.
So it's
How
got
is it a savoury dish?
marshmallows on it. There we go. Where's the angle? I'm not getting.
No, you nailed it.
You nailed it.
Perfect.
Got it.
Well done.
So it's baked. And it's this lovely sort of... It's almost the marriage between a s'more and a pumpkin pie. If they were to have a baby, they would have a sweet potato pie.
And that puff pastry looks delicious.
I love a
as well.
s'more and I love sweet potato. I love pumpkin pie,
Well, that's perfect. So you've got a lovely sweet potato, sort of mashed, lot of notes of cinnamon in there as well, a little bit of mace. And then we've got, as done is traditionally, marshmallows on top in the oven.
Yes.
So they all puff up and they go a little bit caramelised.
Oh, my God, it's warm as well. Yes,
it is a savoury dish, weirdly enough. So I've made these ones... I figured Olivia wants something a bit more refined, a bit more delicate.
You know me
yes.
Cameron looks too suave in his suit. I thought we can't be serving them out of a big bowl. So I've got my little puff pastry things, which actually I think are quite nice to serve over Christmas even as well, if you were to adopt a bit of an American theme.
And puff pastry is so easy to bake as well.
The cinnamon, really, I feel like Paul Hollywood now. The cinnamon really comes through.
I love it. Or could I get a handshake as well?
You get a handshake.
Thank you very much. Amazing.
You certainly do. So it is beautiful.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't class that as a side dish. I'd say that's dessert.
Well, I mean, there is the debate, Cameron. There is the debate. But I quite love the fact that it's a bit different. And actually, it's so easy to make. You can make this in advance. So if you wanted to do this, I guess, in the UK around Christmas, for instance, you could easily make your puff pastry cases in advance. It's a glorified sweet potato mash. There's just a bit of cinnamon there, a bit of brown sugar.
A bit of brown sugar. Is there some other herb as well? Is there a herb?
No, so it's cinnamon. I've loaded it with a bit of salt and pepper because I was trying to get it into the world of savoury. But there is some cinnamon, some dark brown sugar in there as well, which gives it that slightly sort of malty caramelised flavour. And then the marshmallows on top, of course. And whack it in the oven.
You can taste the pepper. You can get the kick, the spice at the end of the dish. But as you say, I know Brits usually don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but this absolutely could, Theo, be part of a Christmas menu or even a Christmas Eve party. You can serve little canapes of it.
Absolutely. And I think what's quite nice is when you make them as little sort of parcels like this, you can do all that prep work in advance because Christmas is
no space in the oven.
No space in the oven. You could serve them cold if you wanted. So these have been mildly heated just for your palates today, but otherwise cold. And then I've got, so I have to class these as Kim's Spectacular American Stuffing Balls.
Okay,
so a good friend of mine, Kim, has made these. So these are pork balls. They've got, so it's sausage meat in essence, and the great thing about using sausage meat for your stuffing is it's all pre-seasoned. Right, so it's already got the herbs.
Is that where you squeeze the sausage out of the sausages? Or
no, so you can go the old school way and sort of, it's almost like milking a cow with the others, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's a load of phallic jokes around that, which we're not going to do this early in the morning. So these are, but you can buy sausage meat instead. So it comes in a packet of sausage meat. And what's great, it's all pre-seasoned. So they've already got all the herbs, all the spices are in there.
That's delicious.
And Kim gave me very strict instructions on how to cook these. So it's a lot of onions, a lot of celery, in fact, and we sweat those down for about 15-20 minutes so they're really soft. Then we mix in lots of breadcrumbs, we mix in lots of butter. I mean, they are so indulgent.
They taste so nice. Is there a cranberry in there as well? There's something sweet.
So I wrapped these in panko breadcrumbs and deep fried them so they're really crispy. But I couldn't help myself and I wanted a little bit of sweetness to it. So I just made a little cranberry glaze.
So well
spotted. I love that you spotted that.
He's wasted. He should be ashamed.
I'll go on MasterChef or something. No, I'm really bad cooking. What's the white bits on top of these?
So they're dried panko breadcrumbs because I knew I was going to warm. Full disclosure, I was going to warm them up in the microwave today, and I thought, and you'll lose that crispiness. So I just tried to scatter a few more panko breadcrumbs on there, because panko, a Japanese type breadcrumb, it's really, really crispy, so it's great for, if you have tempura, they'll always be battered and covered in panko breadcrumbs. And so I scattered a few on there just to give it a bit of texture to it.
Oh, absolutely delicious. What a treat for the end of the show.
Theo, thank you so much for joining us. Really, really appreciate it. And I think I'm definitely going to try both these dishes over the Christmas period. So you've inspired me, Theo.
I want to hear
you have to bring it in for us to try, please.
I will, absolutely. They're so nice. Please try them at home. They're absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for watching Saturday Morning Live. It's been lovely joining you for the last few weeks.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Olivia.
Love it.
Charlie will be back next week, but now it is the wonderful Dawn Neeson.
I love you. Thank you very much. Cracking show, you used to. We've got a good one for you as well. Is Rachel Reeves going to be making like the Christmas turkey and stuffed come the big day? The smart money is on her going. Don't worry about that one. We are also talking about the people that have been affected by the mess up that has been going on. We're talking to a farmer, we're talking to a pub landlord, we're talking to pensioners, we're talking to the people that these lies or, overlooks actually count. So don't go anywhere, it's going to be a really packed show and you're the most important one. We'll see you after the weather.
Today, clouds overhead, total zen within. Boxed Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning and welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. It's been a pretty wet start towards the weekend, but it is a weekend of two halves and Sunday does look like it will be a much drier and brighter end to the weekend. Now that's all to do with this low pressure system which is moving northeastwards across the UK, which like I said has brought some heavy rain through this morning, and there will be some heavy rain continuing through much of the afternoon, mostly across northern England, but even across the southeast those rains will continue for the first few hours of the afternoon. There will be some brighter skies as well developing, especially across the south, maybe just one or two showers here, but it will be a fresher feel once that rain does move through, especially across parts of Scotland where temperatures won't get any higher than those mid-single figures. As we go through this afternoon then, like I said, we will see some clearer skies across those southern counties, one or two showers for the southwest, but much of that heavy rain will continue to persist across northern England. Could even see some snow showers across the Pennines into the early evening as well. Some clearer skies for Scotland, some wintry showers as well across those northern coasts, as we do have that northerly wind coming down as well, which again will make it feel rather cold to end at the evening on Saturday. This rain will continue to move its way out towards the North Sea, but those winds will strengthen across those northeastern coasts. We could even see some coastal gales here into the early hours of Sunday morning. But for the rest of the UK, some clearer skies developing. It will start to feel rather cold as well. Those temperatures will start to fall away under those clearer skies. So expect a widespread frost for people waking up on Sunday morning. We could even see some icy stretches across Scotland for a time, but Sunday, a very different story to what we're expecting today. Some nice, bright, crisp sunshine, and it will feel rather fresh through the day. One or two showers across the western coast of Wales and England, but then all eyes turn towards this weather system out towards the west for Monday.
Today, clouds overhead, total zen within. Boxed Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
It's the greatest cash prize of a Great British giveaway so far. A simply stunning £85,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like, making 2020